Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. I had to skip coloring yesterday, so we're doing the daily color on Sunday. It is episode 303, I believe, and we are going to continue on. We've got lanterns to do, and I have a start on the owl. So this will continue into next week. And we're going to get right to it. I have chosen a very simple gold metal with two browns that we actually used on the trunk or branches. And then I have a couple of yellows for the candle and the light. So I will get started. We've got the two yellows. They are so hard to read. Canary yellow, 1022. I'm gonna, here, let's see, I have my cheat sheet. I did not write the yellow numbers down. Chromium yellow deep is actually the darker, it's a slightly orange tone, 1025. But I will correct the numbers. You can probably see them better than I can. But I will have them listed in the description as well. I just want to get started. It was just too much of a day yesterday. If you haven't seen it already, I did publish a very rare picture of me at the market that we had yesterday. It was very busy. It wasn't the most successful for me overall, but I really had a good time chatting with everyone and got to do a lot of talking about coloring. You know, it's like people know that that's my main focus. You know, I always have my cards. People call me and buy cards. In fact, any of my, like, quote-unquote regulars. Oh, and we're blurry. Any of my regulars have already purchased what they wanted, and I didn't have a lot of holiday cards made yet because I've been busy doing other things with family, so it's not been my normal schedule. I am being pretty casual on how wide the glow is on the lanterns because I don't think I'm going to do a background on this. So I can be pretty vague. I will show glow on the owl, which will show that the glow does extend that far. So we finished the market, or I finished. Hub actually dropped me off and picked me up, which is amazing because normally he does the least he has to do and always wants to stay behind the scenes. And when you know, he was in there in the morning, very early, helping me bring everything in. He just wanted to be sure he had his golf cart. We have sold our second golf cart to my parents, so it's not like we have a his and hers anymore. And he had some work he was going to be doing in preparation for the U-Haul pods that were coming. So he did get me dropped off at 7:30. Came in with a load with me. And then he even came at noon and relieved me to give me a little break. I had to eat something. And then he picked me back up. And when he did pick me up, the pods had a wide window of time when they were going to be there, so I fully expected them to actually already have been dropped off. But they actually had an arrival time of 2:18. And I have my organization, you know, I've vended pretty much, I don't know, most of my adult life. And so I pack pretty light and condensed, and everything breaks down really quickly. And so I was out of there, and at about 2:18 when we pulled out, I posted another picture of the U-Haul. We watched it drive right by us. And then we got to follow it all the way back. So it was pretty perfect timing. It did mean I didn't get any a big break or anything in my day, but we did get the pods unloaded last night. There was only a half a pod left, and we actually ran over there. We had to help someone else who had a problem with a new they had a washer and dryer they bought, and for some crazy reason the dryer was having a problem, so we helped them and then just went and unloaded the last big remaining item. So the pods are ready to be returned. And now I am getting my makeup color on this owl. I can't wait to share with you what I decided on the color scheme for it. We'll see how far we can get. My mom thinks I'm pretty crazy, I will have to say. She's always thought I'm pretty crazy, and I've always been very crafty and artsy, you know, like my whole life. I'm trying on the, so what I have here is I'm looking at this little lantern, and that side of my camera, the focus, because of we have this bow right here, you can see how the paper's bending, and I did my clips, and I do like it better with the clipping, but I still don't have a perfect solution for the bowing that makes my camera go wonky. All right, let's look at the golds. Antique Brass 5444. These are like my favorites for gold. And Old Gold 5430. If you look at the tips tell a little bit of a different story than the barrels. The barrels are, especially on the screen, I'm looking through the camera lens. The upper one shows warmer, the lower one shows cooler, but the upper one is significantly darker with the tip. And 5430 is the color of the upper one. No, 5444. So the tip actually, like I said, it tells a different story, and color-wise, it is not what we think it is, because 5430, which is the bottom one, which is this greener one, is the darker of the two, according to what I just drew. Because I don't trust myself, I am going to do a little testing off to the side that you can't see with more color, just to be sure. All right, so 5444. You know what? I did write them down wrong. The darker tip is the winner. The darker tip is the darker pencil. And I wrote them down wrong. So I'm going to do a little arrow. You know, and this is the exact same thing because of the barrels. I actually did the same thing. If I show you my little cheat sheet I shared yesterday, there's yesterday's marks showing that I flip-flopped them. And it's the barrel, I tell you. The barrels are such a challenge for me. Anyway, so I am actually raising up the end there to hope that the end stays more in focus. 5444. Darker tip. Ignore the barrel. I just have to chant it to myself. I'm following the guideline. Johanna Basford did her lines on the left, so that is my shadow side as well. I am keeping this pretty simple. These little tiny diamonds and the little dots, I will probably put either gold, probably gold, or metallic. Some fun tiny bit of bling marker. Keeping the knuckle out of the way. Yeah, so my time will be freeing up, thank goodness. I have that conversion chart that I keep promising, And I did finally get a comment today asking status, and I knew that would happen. So that is on the top of my, as soon as I get keep my coloring caught up every day, any extra free time needs to go toward that. I tried to work on it while watching the dog, but it is just too hard because I have to focus, and he, at random moments of time, will want attention. And it's, of course, dog logic, and that means it's never the best time. I have switched now. I have the lighter tone. These look like the shape of some sort of hat to me. These cute lanterns. It was not supposed to rain today, but this afternoon, by the time we were going to run over and help our friends with their appliances, of course it's pouring down rain, and our golf cart has no cover. It has a top, but no plastic rain protection. And so we had to take the truck. It is rare that we have to do that. See, this was really simple. And I might go back through and clean it up a little bit. I usually leave the candles, in all cases, I can't think of a single image here that I colored the candle itself. But I do have a good color that I'm actually going to use on the owl that I just might use on the candle, just for something a little different. Putting away the lantern bits, and then I'm grabbing owl colors. I have a 4-color blend for the feathers, and I am going to go ahead and get started on that, and I will reveal it. Well, I guess I have to pre-reveal it, don't I? Because I'm going to give you the numbers ahead of time. Maybe I won't. I'll color it one at a time, and I'll tell you them as I color. The first one is my shadow color. And as you can see, it is a reddish brown. And I will give you the color number here after I get some of it down. I always pre-reveal it to you, and I thought I need to let you guys see the color unfurl in some cases, so trying something a little different. I will probably be doing some erasing, adding and subtracting to get my feathers balanced the way I want them to be. So hopefully you're getting a nice reveal on this particular color. We'll just do a few of these and we'll get on to the next color for you. Burnt Umber 6099. That's what that color was. And now I am moving to a lighter color in my blend. And you will see that it changes tone a little bit. It's definitely going toward the red side. I did enjoy looking at all sorts of owl pictures. Got Hub's input. So there's the next lightest color. This feather here and on down is going to be lit by the lantern, and the color this is Venetian Red 6087, and that is very hard to read, so I'm going to cheat. Yep, 6087. I'm going to start with my third color, and I am going to glaze over the top of both of the browns and the reds to get a little bit of this orange color. Playing with my camera. Oh, that's much better. The light ring was blocking some of my view. So I think my color scheme is revealed for the most part. I am going for a fall color owl. So not realistic, though not totally unrealistic, because there's a lot of brown owls. I just went, instead of brown to white, I went brown to kind of like a sunset, like a burnt orange sunset. And then the tips have this pattern on them. And so I will reveal what that, and then this actually looks a bit different. The lightest color for the top of the feathers is chromium yellow. It was one I used for the dark color on the, like the candle flame, and it is that 102, I think it's 5, chromium yellow deep. And then I am going to grab the last tone, which I might put on the candle, and that is beige. I did not write this down. 3003. So I will reveal this little bit of beige I'm going to put here. It's very subtle. And then we're going to do beige on all of these tips. And I will erase as needed. I am okay even using this beige as my blending color, where I'm going to burnish. And the difference between the copy paper, which these actually go down, you know, right now I'm really into the whole, how well does this pencil work on copy paper? Which the Black Widows do not go well on copy paper, but these actually do a nice job. So we have a lovely fall color, sort of like fall leaves without any green. I'm grabbing that yellow, the chromium yellow deep, to brighten up. I'll even pre-color this, and then go back in. I want to darken the middle line here, and do the shadow where the feathers go underneath the other feathers next to them. My paper is tapping. It's very humid, and warm. So I have a fan going. So those are my owl feathers that are somewhat fall leaf colors. I want to bring in the red, the Venetian red, and darken up So the time, as I am monitoring how long I am taking, is hiding underneath a part of my apparatus here. It's just the direction. Normally it's at the top of the phone, and it has decided that the top of the phone is the side of the phone. So as soon as I finish this cluster, before I start the next, I will gauge where we're at for time. Alright, so we need a little more beige. I did these 3 tips, and I don't want any white on these feathers, so I am coloring all the way up, doing even more burnishing. I will tell you that I am doing better at the tone graduation, and I haven't felt, looking at these 7 feathers, that I've needed to erase anything yet. I had erased quite a bit by now, but perhaps I just got my ratio of color correct. Alright, so I need to peek at the time. I'm going to pause. Alright, I'm back. I got things shifted a little bit better so I can see the time. Yep, and the feathers all at the same time. Continuing on to the next chunk. This is that darkest color. And here's all my shadow lines. Yesterday I had the sign that said I color every day, almost every day. And I had the book that I color in the most, though I did tell everybody that I'm now up to rotating through 3 different books. And people would go page by page looking at, you know, the kinds of things I colored. Last year when I did this same event and I had my advertising for the coloring group, it had, I think I had 1 class already, but I didn't have anywhere near the materials. I have all of last year's lessons, which I explained that this year I am focusing on actually coloring, that I have a lot of lesson materials that I'm happy for people to take home they already have the praying color numbers, and so they're really all kind of set up for people to be able to kind of work on things on their own. They get 3 little images to play with. And then this year it's all about coloring. I really struggled with not just myself, but with other people being intimidated. They were happy with the lessons and like practicing metal and practicing crystals, hair, fruits, just all of the different possible subject matter items that you will see on a page. But then they were intimidated to actually use their practice toward putting it all together on a page. So that is what we are going to play with this year. And that is exactly what I am doing with the daily color as well. So everything ties together. So we're finished with, I could go ahead and finish this one out here, and then we'll have a big chunk of feathers to blend out and make look pretty. So I do have a sad small snippet. So I don't know how many of you watch Yellowstone. It is I never watched it. I didn't even know what it was all about. I mean, I knew it had Kevin Costner in it, and I could see writing, but we've been traveling and haven't had access to a TV, so even when we moved here, we have been pretty de-linked from normal TV channels, and most of our streaming, I will admit, I've been addicted to coloring videos, and Hub has his gaming videos. I watch some gaming videos as well. So we're not really TV people anymore like we were when we were in a home, because the streaming options are so good now that I just don't even have time. So somewhere along the way, I did watch some of Yellowstone. I recorded it. I think there was a free Paramount Plus weekend, and I had them all recorded for the longest time, sitting on, we have like a cloud DVR through Spectrum. So then somewhere over the summer I did watch it. And I competed in the events that happen. If you've ever watched Yellowstone, that's what I did. The reining, where there's sliding stops and turnarounds and all that. At one point in the show, they have, John Dutton is looking for a prospect to put his name on it, a stallion prospect. And he's talking to a man that actually, when I grew up competing in the quarter horse breed shows, that man was the main kind of open rider in a lot of the classes that I competed in with my horse, and that my trainer that I had would compete in those classes with that man. The name of the man is Bob Avila. And yesterday or the day before, he passed away at the AQHA World Show at 72 years old. And that just made me pretty sad last night when I saw that. Very shocking. And I have been out of the industry for many, many years, but I still have a whole bunch of Facebook friends. So my feed was just inundated with all of these sad, so sorry for, Bob Avila's family. He has a grown son, and it's just crazy. I still don't know exactly what happened, but that man was on Yellowstone when I watched. I can't remember what season, maybe 3. They're in the arena there. Well, they're at an arena, looking at the prospects. An earlier episode has all of the trainers at the Dutton Ranch, Yellowstone Ranch Arena. Oh, I'm going to go one lighter. And so I hope if you knew who he was that now you know, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. So the even sadder weird thing is there were 3 apprentices who worked for this man when I was an amateur coming up through with my world of competition. And all 3 of those trainers, I bought a horse from one of them, and my friends all used him. He actually was very prominent in our area where we live, very involved. He takes all the clients to shows. I would go there and ride my horse, not the one I bought from him, but many years later I had a different young horse, and I would go and take lessons and ride. And he passed away when he was like 50. You know, he's younger than Bob Avila, because Bob Avila he apprenticed for Bob Avila. And then there were 2 others. All 4 of those men, I'm getting goosebumps now, they all have passed away. So what is the moral to the story here? I believe that horse trainers probably don't feel like they have to go to doctors and don't have to take care of themselves. They work tirelessly 7 days a week. They travel all over the United States and, driving big rigs. It's a very tough, physical, demanding lifestyle. And now they've all passed away, and it's just so sad. I will not cry. I will honor their lives and what they did, and their the growth of the sport of reining. That's what it's called. They were very active participants in the sport of reining and promoting it all those years that they rode. So there's my sad tale. And I am done with sadness. Now we're going to go on to happy things. I am thrilled that my parents have moved in and they got to sleep in their home for 2 nights. So far, moving on to that orangey yellow this is called yellowed orange. And it is 1056. So I'm going to glaze like I did these other feathers, the first feathers, and I'm going to glaze a nice shine of orange over them. I am going to color the left side of the feathers a little bit darker, and this is where I see maybe a chance to do a little erasing, because the right side has to have more of the lighter glow. Not bad, not bad. Okay, I have my eraser right here. I already have it prepared. It's got some orange. I might clean it a little bit. Like I said, I had to do a lot more erasing on my mock-up. Oops, sorry about that. So now I want some glow. This one has just a little. Yeah, you're getting blurs. too bad, not too bad. Okay, let's see how this goes. We have the Chromium Yellow Deep, and I am filling in that right side where I erased so that we make sure we have that lightest color. And notice these feathers have more than the feathers that are farther away from the light. Okay, so that's that part. I'm going ahead and doing a glaze of even this lighter color. So these feathers are 5 colors, 4 colors. If you can include the beige, I'm holding the beige in my hand, and I actually did some glazing with that lightest beige. Okay, now I need to deepen up with going back to the darkest, Burnt Umber 6099. This is why I am not a very fast colorist. I'm happy to play with an erase and add, and erase and add. There we go. We're getting some nice shadows in there, and I'm hoping the feathers look like they might have some shape to them. I really wanted this to be a rich palette of autumn colors. Now my challenge is going to be to figure out with these different feather shapes all over this owl. I need to repeat these 4 colors in a variety of ways all over this bird. So we will see how well I do that. That is my challenge. I can come in here with like a sepia, a really dark color at some point, or I could decide that this is plenty dark enough. I'm coming in with the Venetian red now. I am, as we get further away, notice on the feather, on the left side, I'm doing more of the red and making it darker than on the left. Some imperfections, like I'm seeing a couple of little blotches here and there on these feathers, and I am totally okay with that. In real life, these feathers would not be perfectly smooth anyway. They would have some variation. This feather needs a little color. I'm going to grab the yellowed, this color. These are somewhat smooshable, like right there, that just smooshed right on in. That right there feels Prisma-ish. All right, I want to see some beige on these. I only put, and that is a loose piece, very careful there, because I did not know if that would smear, so I just picked it up with my finger. So this whole section is the base for the entire bird. I keep saying it's a bird. It's an owl, but they're a bird. So there you have it. That is my main tone. Now I'm going to do the next little area that I mocked up. I did this initially because I wanted to see this beige color, and I am going to go darker. So I'm softening where all these little dots are. Those are going to be darker. I have not found that darker color yet, but I wanted you to see how pretty this beige color is going to look. So it's possible that the little bit darker sepia color that I have used over on the branch, you can see it just in the corner there. Let's see if I can include a little bit of that branch for you to see. That part of the tone of the branch might be my shadows. I am at 41 minutes. I am feeling pretty good. I'm going to back up here so you can see my fall colored owl with the lantern. And then the color tones on the branch are very much more green and cool colors than the very vibrant colors of the feathers that I now get to repeat and change the pattern for each of the sets of feathers. So that will be kind of fun. I am very concerned about brushing any of those crumbs. I see a few crumbs. So being that these are softer, I highly recommend that you make sure you have your brush nearby. So that concludes what we're going to work on today. And I have not decided if we will continue this because I think I could finish it in 2 more sittings with you guys. So since it is a new week and I already colored last week the other 2 books, I might go ahead and continue this owl until he is done. And then that means we would pick up the other 2 books later in the week. So I kind of like that, sticking with these, so that's probably what I will do. So do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Now, the next you're going to see me is for a short weekly review, and that will be later this evening. And I hope to see you there. Thanks for joining today.